and welcome to 30-minute batch blogging. So in this video I'm going to try to explain how I'm planning to create a year of blog posts in January on 30 minutes of blogging a day. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about that, and I'll explain who I am first. So my name is Catherine. I am a blogger. I'm a mum of 2 kids. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old who is sitting right here. So you might hear some noise from her as she's gurgling away there, but this is how I have to work. So this is why I'm too busy to blog. I like to talk a lot about batch blogging and productivity, and I run a course called the Batch Create and Automate Bootcamp, which is all about batch blogging your blog, because it's the only way that I can manage to run a blog. And I have very little time to work, so if you've read any of my emails you'll know that I'm really busy, having a full life. I go outdoors a lot, I've got my kids, so there's a lot to do, and I have very little time to actually write and blog and run my blogs. So first of all, before we even get started, I want to give you a quick tip, which is if you want to make me a little bit faster in YouTube, if you go to the settings button at the bottom of the screen, it's probably like down here, looks like a little cog, you can actually speed me up and watch this video faster. There you go, saved you a bit of time already, so why don't you go and do that and see if you can follow along on me speeded up. If you want to, you don't have to, but it's just a little tip. Okay, so first of all, I need to give you a bit of context about the blog that I am batch blogging for. It is called londonhiker.com, and it is about hiking in London and around London. So it's basically for a niche audience of people who live in London, who want to go hiking, who love the outdoors, and maybe are feeling a little bit unhappy or worried that they won't be able to do that anymore because they live in London, which is obviously a massive city. So it's all about that, and I do sell a few information products on my blog, so it does earn me a little bit of money. So I sell some ebooks, e-resources, I've got an e-course about trail walking, and I've got a big pack, which is my most costly product, which is a pack of loads of walking itineraries for weekends you can do. So the reason why I want to maintain this blog is so that I can help people and earn a little bit of money doing it. So the other thing you need to know is that I don't actually live in London anymore. I have moved, so it is perhaps, you might think, a little bit more tricky for me to maintain this blog, but I am still going to do it. I can still maintain my blog that way. Do you want to come up? Okay. Hello, are you looking? Okay, so the other thing I want to tell you about my blog, which is really important for how I'm going to explain how I'm going to be batch blogging it, is that it's not me talking about what I have done. So like a lot of you may have blogs about your area of expertise, your skills, you're passing on your own skills, like it might be yoga, you might be showing a yoga pose or something like that. So for me, my blog, it's more about me finding information and researching things and sharing them with the audience. So it's saving them time so they can have great experiences, so they don't have to do the research that I'm doing for them. So it's not really about me, it's more about providing information that I have found, if you see what I mean, as opposed to me giving my tips and talking about what I've done. Right, so that is important for how I'm going to be batching. So previously I have done a lot of batching projects. I have I batched before I had my baby, and I've batched several times. I've batched social media, and I've batched loads of things. So previously, my rough estimate of how much I can do is if I spend 1 week batch blogging, not full time, but in the time I have to work in that week, so if an hour here, an hour there, maybe a few hours here, I reckon I can do 4 blogs. I might be able to do more, but 4. So 1 week equals 1 month. So that is how my general rule of thumb for how much I can blog. And each blog will take between 1 and 2 hours. So I'm trying to narrow it down so I can do them even faster. So lately they have got faster. On my last batch blogging one, it was probably about an hour per blog, maybe an hour and a half. So this time I am batch blogging in January. I'm going to do 4 weeks of batch blogging, which is quite a long time. Usually when I batch blog for a month, I would spend the first week updating social media to make sure that I'm still like visible on social media, but I've actually automated all that now, so I don't have to do that anymore. So I can spend the full 4 weeks actually doing blogging, so that's great. And I really want to bring it up a notch. I really want to, I'm just looking down at my notes, that's why I keep looking down at. I really want to bring it up a notch. I want to work even faster and see what on earth it is possible to do. So I start off with looking at, before I start talking about this, I need to explain that I am sharing my prep steps. So before my batching starts, I do a lot of preparation so that on the first day of my batching week, I am there, I know exactly what I'm doing on that day, and I go for it. And every day I know what I'm doing, and every week I know what I'm doing. So, I am sharing my prep steps, so you should be getting those if you're signed up to my list at toobusytoblog.co.uk. So if you want to know all my prep steps, you can get those there. So first of all, I start off, I think, what time have I got to blog this time around? So I'm trying to do it that I have 30 minutes a day. So 30 minutes a day I think that I have to blog. It actually might work out to be a little bit more on some days, and some days it might be not. But so I reckon on average in a week I'd get 30 minutes a day. And it's quite an interesting challenge for me to work out how to blog in that time. So 30 minutes a day for the January batch blogging project, that's what I'm going to say that I've got. So in 4 weeks, that's 14 hours. And what would I like to achieve? Well, like in an ideal world, my blog would be updated every week, and it would be like amazing. You know what an ideal blog would be like. It would be just like really busy and loads going on. So I'd love to do that, but realistically, I can't do that every week. I haven't got enough time to do that. So what I would like to do is to have one blog every 2 weeks. So still, that's 26 blogs, right? And I've got 14 hours. So that's the problem. So that is about 30 minutes per blog. 30 minutes per blog. I have never done a blogging batching project where I do 30 minutes per blog. Is it even possible? Is that even possible? So I like a challenge. So I start to think. I start to brainstorm. I start to think, how can I create blogs in 30 minutes per blog? Is it possible? Is it just going to be a load of rubbish? How is it going to work? So, as I said earlier, my blog is not personal. So, if I had a personal blog where it would be me providing my tips to you, a bit like I am doing now, then what I would do for my batching challenge is I would do 5-minute videos, and I would batch film in 30 minutes 6 5-minute videos. And so in 2.5 hours you could film 26 videos. Do you get me? So 5-minute videos or less. I've done that before. You just set up, you know what you're going to say, you brainstorm a lot of ideas, you set the camera up like this, like I have done, and you just film them. And after a few sessions you'll get really practiced at that, and you'll be able to do 26 videos in 2.5 hours. So that could be your first week. If you were doing like a 4-week vlogging, that could be your first week. And the rest of the 3 weeks could be like editing, formatting, uploading them. You could easily do that. So I think you could easily, okay, I've been doing this for some time, but I think that you could do that. But I can't do that for my blog. It doesn't really fit with the context, the topic that I am teaching about. I don't live in London. I can't go out and film myself walking around London, and in any case that would take a lot more than 5 minutes, and there's not really tips that I can share, it's more information. So my blog is all about information. So it's more, what I tend to do is to go down the curation route. So I will curate information and other sources and pull them in and act as a curator and find information and share it. So, for example, I will research an area of beautiful outdoor area, green space in or around London, and I'll find loads of good sources about it, pull it together into a single package and then share it with my audience. So that's just an example of the kind of thing that I do. So I'm going to go down that route mainly. So I start to think, what are the fastest blogs that I can create that are still going to be useful? We don't want to put out rubbish on our blog. We want it to be useful, but also really fast. So in the batch blogging course that I run, I have made a video where I tell you 25 fast formats, like the fastest blogs that I know is possible to create. So now I'm thinking I need the fastest of the fast. I need like super mega fast. I need the fastest of the fast, like 30 minutes fast. So here is what I've come up with. The fastest blogs, I guess, is where you outsource. So I can't pay for anyone to write for my blog because I don't have that kind of money. Another option would be guest blogs, which I do take, but I can't be kind of waiting around for people to submit guest blogs, and also I find that people say they will and then they don't. You know, that's fine, they're not getting paid for it, it's fine. But people often don't do what they say they're going to do, and then you're waiting for months for their guest blog. I don't want to rely on that. So I'm going to outsource in a slightly different way. So firstly, I'm going to do interviews by email. I have a series of blogs that I can do, and it's going to be called something like Why Not Try? So I've been wanting to do this for a while. If you like hiking, if you like outdoor stuff, you might also like climbing, orienteering, geocaching, volunteering to maintain trails, various other activities as well that I think would be interesting. So I am going to find contacts who are experts in those areas, and I've got 7. And I'm going to send them questions by email, and I'm going to get someone to reply back with answers to those questions, which is going to be really interesting, and pull that together into a blog. So that is number 1, interviews by email, which is my Why Not Try series. I've got 7 ideas for that, so that's 7 blogs. Secondly, I'm going to try to arrange for some giveaways. So I get contacted by companies now and again who offers to do giveaways. Obviously with hiking, you know, you've got equipment to buy, things like that, books, whatever. So I'm going to try to follow those up and identify 6 giveaways to do. So that will be a blog in itself, giveaways, and I will probably link it to something like, you know, you have to share this blog to win it or something like that. I know that there are sharing ways that you can enter giveaways. So I'm going to do giveaways. Hi, I am back. I just had to go and do some things, and as you can see I have my baby sleeping, so I'm going to try and finish off this video now. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to do is reviews. I am going to try and get companies to send their products for review, so books or equipment or things like that, and ideally I would like to outsource the reviews, so I find someone who would be willing to do the review for me and arrange for them to review the thing. So I have already got one of these kind of blogs in the pipeline. Someone contacted me saying, do you want to review my book? And I said that would be cool, but I can't do it, and I found someone else to do it for me. So everyone, it's like a win-win situation. They get exposure, the blogger, the person reviewing it gets exposure, the author gets exposure, and I get a blog, so yay! So I'm going to try and get 6 reviews in the pipeline, so that would be cool as well. Okay, so the other thing, which I've never tried before, but I am going to try to find people who have written books about walking in and around London. So a lot of people do write up their experiences and self-publish books and sell them on Kindle or on their website. So I think that I could find some people and ask them if they would like to provide me with an extract for a blog post. So again, win-win, they get to promote their book to a big audience that I can provide them with that might be interested in their book, and I get a blog for free, like a really interesting blog, an extract from their book about whatever it is they're writing about. So I'm going to try and see if I can get 6. I'm still looking down at my notes, so that's why I keep looking down. But yeah, 6 of those. So altogether, those 4 things: interviews, giveaways, reviews, book extracts. that is 25 blog posts that I have identified that I'm going to try to get sorted out. And I've also identified 5 list posts that I am going to try to create in my batch blogging in January. So these are going to be like the 10 or whatever number it is, maybe 8 or something, the 10 best. So it's the 10 best Instagram accounts to follow if you're interested in hiking around London, the 10 best hiking books, the 10 best bloggers who blog about hiking around London. So it's going to be something like that. So those kind of posts are relatively quick for me to create. So those are ones that I am actually going to create myself with no outsourcing or other people involved. So all together with those and the other ones, that's 30 ideas that I'm going to try to be working on in January, which is a little bit mad. So after coming up with the ideas, then I need to plan out my process. And I know that blogging takes a lot longer than you think it does. So for the outsourced ones, I'm going to work on those in the first week. So usually when I start a batching project, the very first thing that I would do for all of my blogs that I'm going to work on is to design the title images. And there's a reason for that, which is my skip to the end strategy, which I teach more in the batch blogging course. But it's basically what it is that I do that first. But I'm not going to do that this time, because the first thing I need to do is to email and contact and get those emails out there and get those invitations out there and get those review copies coming in. So the first thing I need to do is to do that. But in order to do that, I need to firstly research and find like 25 contacts. So I've allocated an hour for doing that. So that's like 2 of my 30-minute blocks. Then I need to draft the emails out. So I need to write an email template for each of those things. So for the interviews, I'm going to come up with similar questions. So I'm going to come up with a standard email with questions that could be used for any of the interviewees, and then when I've written the email, I just need to send it out 7 times. So I won't need to write a customized email, just a little bit customized, but not kind of rewrite it from scratch. So again, I'm batching that. And then I'm going to write the emails, and then I'm going to email everyone. So within my batching project, I am sort of sub-batching, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to do all the research in one batch, and then write the emails in one batch, and then actually send the emails in another batch. So that would be my first week, and then I will be waiting and waiting for responses to come back in. So then in my second week, I'm going to work on the list blogs that I told you about. So I can just do those on my own, not a problem. So I'm going to try and do those in the second week. And in the third and the fourth week, that's when I'm going to be processing what comes back from the first week, which is all of my contacts, book extracts, did I manage to persuade anyone to send me a book extract, things like that. So I can actually process them and start to format them into blogs. Yeah, so it is a really sort of challenging way that I've never done it before, but I'm quite excited about it. And I know that if I'm going to do this successfully, I've got to be on top form with my productivity. I've got to be extremely focused. I'm just going to be doing this for the month, and I'm not going to be faffing about doing anything else apart from running my live round of the batch blogging challenge, my batch blogging bootcamp, because I'm batching and I'm helping other people batch as well at the same time. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to be sending tips and motivation and interacting with people who are also blogging as well. So apart from that, like usually I would be totally focused on the one thing, but I'm kind of doing like these 2 things. I'm actually batching for my hiking blog, and I am running the course live as well, the batch blogging course. So, but apart from that, I'm going to be totally focused. So what else? I know I'm going to come up with struggles, I know I'm going to have obstacles, I know I'm going to get really bored at some point and not want to carry on, and I know I'm going to be distracted, and I know I'm going to have lulls in my energy. So all of these things, and my mindset I need to keep on, so all of these things I'm going to be working on. It takes quite a lot to batch blog like this, especially for 4 weeks, and when you have very little time. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about kind of running a marathon, like trying to run a mental marathon, but you know, in very little time, and it takes a lot of different kinds of strategies, like actual blogging strategies, fast working strategies, productivity strategies, mindset strategies. Yeah, so it all comes together when I'm batch blogging. And I need to keep up my enthusiasm and stay motivated. That is so important. And I find that planning ahead for it, like I am doing now, helps me achieve that. I get really excited about the batching that I'm going to be doing. I'm quite excited now, as you can see. I'm going to try and make it as fun as possible to do, and with the people that in the course that are batch blogging with me, whether it's 4 weeks or just like 2 weeks or whatever, I'm going to try and motivate them as well and make it as fun for them as they can be. Because when you're working on your own like this, when you're working on your blog, you're just doing it on your own. It's probably, I mean, I know there are collaborative blogs out there, but probably you're just doing it on your own, and you need motivation, you need enthusiasm. It helps to talk to other people and just have that accountability for getting things done. So that's basically my strategy. I've told it to you, and I'm looking at my notes just to remember what to say next, which is about my bootcamp. So if you're watching this video kind of live just after I've recorded it, then my batch blogging bootcamp starts in January, which is a live round when I'm going to be batch blogging and you might be batch blogging. So if you want to join in, you can join the bootcamp, and you get access to it at any time. So you can join it any time as well and just access the materials. And in that course, I set out my entire strategy and all the systems and tricks and tips and productivity hacks and ideas that I use for my batch blogging projects. And challenges, and you'll get access to that, so you can use that and just use them over and over again to run your own batch blogging. Because as I always say, batch blogging is the only way that I ever managed to get things done, because I have this and lots of other things to do. So during the live round, there's going to be extra tips and motivations, I say, and that will be added to the course. So it will be really great to see you in the live round, because I would love to batch blog with someone else. And I hope you found this video useful and it's given you lots of ideas and made you think about blogging in a different way. And if you are batch blogging, good luck, go for it, you can do it. Set a ridiculous goal and see if you reach it. To be honest, I don't know if I'm going to meet my goal, and I kind of expect that I probably won't get all 26 blogs finished by the end of the 4 weeks, but I'm going to have a pretty good go of it, and I'll let you know how I get on, and I'm sure I'll have a fun time doing it. So I'll see you in the bootcamp if you join, and if not, sign up. If you're not already, sign up to toobusytoblog.co.uk for more tips on too busy to blog, blogging, batching, productivity, parenting. Alright, thank you. I will see you again. Bye.